On the same day, August 27th, 2025, two statements were made that might seem unrelated, but if you listen closely, they echo one another. First, President Trump said, quote, "I have the right to do anything I want. I'm the President of the United States," unquote. He was talking about sending the National Guard into Chicago over objections from Illinois officials. Then, just a little while later, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick defended the federal government taking a 10% stake in Intel. He said, "This is not socialism. This is capitalism." Two sentences, two leaders, and one deeper story. Power stretching its limits and language bending to justify it. Let's start with the president. The U.S. Constitution gives Congress, not the president, the power to call forth the militia. The president can only deploy domestic forces through statutes like the Insurrection Act or a few narrow laws, especially in D.C. James Madison warned us in Federalist Number 47, the accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judiciary, in the same hands may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny. In other words, when a president claims the power to do anything, that's not strength. That's exactly what the founders feared. When Eisenhower sent troops to Little Rock in 1957 or Kennedy to Ole Miss in 1962, it wasn't because they wanted to. It was because federal courts had ruled and law demanded enforcement. Now let's talk about capitalism. Howard Lutnick says the government owning a piece of Intel is capitalism, not socialism. But that's a rebrand, not a definition. Even Alexander Hamilton, who supported tariffs and subsidies, generally argued for aiding industry. Aiding industry, not controlling it. Though it is worth noting, Hamilton did design the first bank of the United States, not a corporation, but a bank, with roughly 20% federal ownership. So public-private equity isn't altogether new. What matters is how and why it's used. Adam Smith warned against government overreach in directing industry. He wrote, "The statesman who should attempt to direct private people in what manner they ought to employ their capitals assumes an authority which could safely be trusted to no council or senate whatever." Back in 2008, the U.S. government took temporary stakes in banks and automakers meant to stabilize and then exit. But when we call state ownership capitalism, the line gets way too blurry. Orwell once wrote, "Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable." Maybe we're not there yet, but when power and language both slip their boundaries, history warns us what comes next. So here's the question I have. When leaders stretch words to stretch power, will we recognize it in time, or will we nod along one sentence at a time?